This Corecon video training segment is based on the contract admin feature called Cprs, or more commonly known as change proposal requests. The feature can be found from the main menu under Projects and then Contract Admin, and from the quick links you can find Contract Admin here under the Stats section and Cprs. You can also access this through your Favorites menu or by going to the Quick Add menu. Under Contract Admin, select Cpr. Change Proposal Requests, or Cprs, is a feature in Corecon used to track and document a request for a change from inception to acceptance. Although Cprs can be created for all contract types, they're usually entered for fixed lump sum or unit price contracts. Changes to cost-plus contracts are generally documented directly in the change order feature and do not require a change proposal. Each Cpr includes the work scope description, a list of impacted vendors and financials, and the financial schedule details. These are used to request and collect pricing from impacted vendors. An email can be sent out directly from Corecon that will include a link to the TeamLink portal and corresponding password. This allows for vendors to document their pricing and schedule impact online, eliminating the need for project administration having to enter this information manually. There's a few things to remember. Budgets in the financial dashboards will not be impacted by a Cpr until that Cpr has been converted to a change order and marked approved. When collecting pricing from impacted vendors, vendors can submit pricing in the TeamLink portal only if the Cpr is marked pending or pending submission. Otherwise, their cost lines will be read-only. The Cpr status options occur in the following sequence: draft, pending submission, pending, not approved, or approved. The approval process. Financial dashboards and project analytics do not include change proposals, whether marked approved or pending. Only when Cprs are copied to a change order and marked approved with a status date will the budget revisions be reflected. A Cpr can be emailed by clicking the Details Report option at the top and choosing the Email Doc or Email PDF option in the pop-up form. To create a new change proposal request, or Cpr, under the Stats sections in Contract Admin, go down to the Cprs line, over to Actions, and Add Manually. The first step in this wizard is creating the header of the change proposal request. So we're going to select a prime contract and give this a date. The Initiated By is a customizable list found in Global Settings under Contract Admin, so that you can make this list your own. We're going to say that this was requested by the owner. And although you would usually send this out as pending, we're going to go ahead and mark it as approved, because in another video we're going to convert this Cpr into a change order. And we're going to give it a status date. Next, we're going to add the subject of the Cpr. Client, customer, or project owner would appear under the client company information. Your company and your contact will fall under the prime contractor company information. Then some scope. If we wanted to attach a drawing that's already been uploaded to Corecon, or an RFI, these magnifying glass icons will take you to those lists. If we're going to be soliciting pricing from impacted vendors, we will need to add a due date and the proposal completion date, or the date we owe this back to the project owner, client, or customer. We'll add the specs section. Since we're also on a schedule, we're going to ask for an additional 7 working days to our existing prime contract and click Next. We're going to ask for pricing from one of our vendors for the furnish and install concrete and forming. However, we could add additional vendors or subcontractors to this request. And then we'll click Add and Next. We can add drawings by adding or linking existing, or by dragging and dropping a file into this rectangle and click Finish. That brief wizard was the header portion of the change proposal. Now let's go down to the impacted companies. Again, we've only selected one company for this CPR, but we could add additional ones as well by clicking the Import Impacted Company. Now we need to add some proposed items. If your vendors, suppliers, and subcontractors are going to supply the CPR proposed items, then you could wait at this point until they've responded. For our example, we're going to go ahead and add some manually. We're going to use a quantity of 1 and the unit of measure lump sum. Since this is the unit price or sell rate, this is the amount we are proposing to charge the client, customer, or project owner. We are required to add a job cost code as the field is marked red. The second part is the cost budget. This would not include the markup fee or overhead. We're going to break down that cost budget by cost resource. We're going to click Save and New. Also using a quantity of 1 and lump sum, although that could be many other quantities and units of measure. And again, we're entering a unit price or sell rate. And since the railing is going to be provided by a subcontractor, we're going to put the entire cost budget under the cost resource for the sub. Notice again that the cost budget does not include fee markup, overhead, or profit. That would be added here under the unit price. And then click Save and Close. If you need to make changes, we go to the Edit button here at the top. We encourage you to spend extra time considering the scope of work. We're going to add a drawing and click Save and Close. Up to Reports, CPR Proposal. We're going to click the PDF to preview. First page is a summary. Your logo would appear here. Second page is the details. If everything looks good, we can email that from here as well. And you can also save a copy to PDF as part of the link files. Back out to the CPR list. Our first CPR has been added. Another way to add new CPRs is from the contract admin landing page, or since we're already in CPR lists, let's go to Actions and let's add a new CPR from an estimate. An estimate's already been prepared in Corecon for this specific purpose. We're also going to create a CPR, and this is also a new transaction, and click Next. All of the fields marked in red are required, so we're going to go ahead and select the prime contract that's already been marked approved, set an issue date, a subject, usually this would be sent out as pending, but we're going to use this change proposal to create a change order in another video, and we're going to give it a status date. We can link any related files and click Next. Now we're selecting whether to include the information from the estimate in summary or by estimate line item detail. We'll choose the second. We have the option to reset the cost code order number and an option to add owner cost codes from the internal grouping codes. And click Finish. If we scroll down to the CPR proposed items, we can see the chain link fence and gate were imported. If we go to Add Import Items and import from an estimate, we also have the option to select individually which lines we want to include. Or we can add additional lines manually. This time we're going to add new lines from the work items already set up in my cost database. put in the 144 square feet, select the cost code, click Add and Close. It's important to note that several of the options to add items in the CPR Proposed Items section include only the sell or price. If that's the case, you will need to go back and add the cost budget. As you can see here, the cost budget is missing. So I'm going to just click the description, which is going to open an edit screen. The unit price is $91.25 a square foot. Let's go down to the subcontract resource and add the subcontractor's quoted price. Click Save and Close. We also have the option to add impacted companies and solicit pricing directly from within the CPR. When you're done, go to Reports, CPR Proposal, a variety of formats to use, and we can preview the CPR. The second page is the details. Back to the CPR list. There's also another feature to add a new CPR from a work order. That process is going to be discussed under a separate training video. If you'd like to know more about the information discussed in this training video, we encourage you to go to the help articles, down to Contract Admin, and to the CPR Request section. The information covered in this training video, as well as additional information you might find useful.